This is the SIN 2290 LLC website, brought to you by the good folks at 2290 Support LLC. This is an authorized e-filer for Form 2290, authorized by the IRS. And they serve anyone from owner-operators, fleet managers, and tax professionals that are preparing these forms on behalf of clients. So let's go for a quick tour. So below the entry screen is a basic overview of how you enter your information. You enter the vehicle information, you review the form to make sure everything's correct. You're going to pay through their secure payment platform, and then you should get your instantly stamped Schedule 1 delivered to you. Finally, at the bottom, one of the things that I appreciate is the guidance. So if you've never done this before, there's a first-time 2290 filing checklist. There are all kinds of compliance articles that you can read. For example, do electric trucks pay HVUT? Oh, yes, they do. So if you wanted to check out all of their articles, that they appear under the blog section. So I just tapped on that and you can have access to all of these articles. What we're going to do now is we're going to go to the draft that I have saved that I was working on previously so that you don't have to watch me stumble through data entry here. So top down pretty much follows the tax form. So if you see the tax form, name, EIN, and then all of these fields with VIN corrections and address changes. Part 1, the tax calculation, this will come out at the end. And then you have various statements in support of the suspension, whether you're declaring them as suspended. All of this is taken care of. All you have to do is the data entry. And the tax computation, this will automatically be done, but it incorporates all of this. So let's go back, and we're going to start with the contact email. That's the email I started with. We're going to go to the tax period. At the time of this recording, it's the end of June 2025, so that tax period is still available. You can also apply for early filing for 2026. There is a note saying that the IRS will open the 2026 season on July 1st, 2026. So the e-file provider will hold on to your return, transmit it that day, and then they will email your stamped Schedule 1 as soon as they get it back. You don't need to do anything else. You can simply post it. You could do it right now if you wanted to, and they would just hold on to it until the 1st of July. Enter your business information just like you would if you were filling out the top of right up here in the form itself. So you're going to enter, in this case, Acme Trucking Company, EIN, which you have to have as a trucking company, even if you're a sole entrepreneur. If you're a sole proprietorship, it takes you about 10 to 15 minutes for free on the IRS website. Simply go to the IRS website. You can go into the search bar and type in EIN, and then you'll find the exact page where you can apply for and receive an EIN in about 10 minutes. The address, if this is a foreign company, so question mark will kind of help you understand what they're asking for. And if it's a foreign address, then there's a couple of additional fields that you'll need to fill in for province, country, and then postal code. We'll just leave that back to Texas. Business officer information. In this case, our fictional president is John Doe. A PIN is the electronic signature, basically, for this document. You can literally pick any 5 digits and enter them there. Then the phone number in case you need to be contacted. Under vehicle management, you can type in single VIN numbers one by one. So all of these fields, we'll walk through them one by one. So logging vehicle, as alluded to, logging vehicles are subject to a lower tax rate, so that will automatically be calculated for logging vehicles. Agricultural and non-agricultural vehicles that are lower than the stated thresholds. So for agricultural, 7,500 miles in a year, non-agricultural, 5,000. They're eligible if you maintain that they have been driven less than that period amount of miles. They would be eligible for what's called a suspended category. So I'm going to show you what that is exactly. So in the weight class, you go from A to V based on a vehicle that meets the minimum requirement of 55,000 pounds. So that's the exact amount. 55,001 pounds is a category B, all the way up to V, which is any vehicle that has a gross vehicle weight of over 75,000 pounds. Category W means that it's suspended. So if you've suspended it, then that means you're telling the federal government that during this period of time you're not driving it, or that it could be for any reason. It could be in maintenance, lack of driver availability, you just don't feel like driving, business is slowed up, whatever the reason is. You're just telling the federal government you're not using the road with this vehicle for that period of time. Now, if you put that vehicle back into use, let's just say that we did our first filing back in July, which you can see the July screen up here. And then, so you fill this out, you exempted a couple of vehicles, but now you're ready to put them back on the road, and the first month of use happens to be in December. Then you would go back, you would place the vehicle into the proper category, and then you would file. Some of these options, so there's a question mark here if you so you can apply credit for any unused months if you destroyed or sold or otherwise disposed of a vehicle. If you need to correct a VIN on a previously filed Schedule 1, you can do that. If you increase the weight category, if it increases mid-year, then you have to report and pay that additional prorated tax. So let's say that it goes up from 56,000 pounds to 65,000 pounds. A vehicle that previously was under Category B is now under Category L. You won't pay the entire amount. You'll pay the prorated amount of that increase. So, and this will do all the calculation for you. So you can add you can add these vehicles one at a time if you want, or you can do what's called a bulk vehicle import. So if you keep your own CSV, which is basically a stripped down Excel spreadsheet, you can save your Excel spreadsheet as a CSV file, and it contains exactly the information that you need. So VIN, category, the first month of use, you can put it all in there. And then it's got toggles that you can do, logging, agricultural, lower mileage, true, false. So if you don't have a template that does all that, you can download it, and this is what it looks like when you download it. So it's got all these markers. You click the first line, you put in the VIN, you put in the category, put in the first month of use, logging, is it true or false, is it agricultural, 5,000 miles or less. That's the statement of exempting it. So if you don't have a template, you can create one simply by downloading the template right here. And then you can upload as many vehicles as you wish into that bulk vehicle import. So you can remove all the vehicles if you need to start over again. So the next section, paid, prepare, and consent information. So if you have a tax person and you want to include them, you can include them. So you would check that box. You would put your preparer's information here, or if you are a preparer and you're putting your information here, if you put all of it there. So the firm's name would be for the tax preparer's firm, not for the trucking company. So all of this information your preparer should be providing to you, but if you're using a preparer, your preparer is probably completing this on your behalf and then simply making sure that they're included so they can take care of any issues that come up. Consent to disclose, basically you're saying, I give permission that this information goes to this person. A third party could be in anyone. It could be someone other than your paid preparer, but it could be like a third party manager, a fleet vehicle manager, whatever. And then finally, you can consent to disclose that information to the Department of Transportation. That all of these are optional. If you click one of the boxes and then go back to not applicable, it's going to clear everything that you put in there previously, because the not applicable by default excludes all of those. Special items. So you can select not applicable if none of these items apply, but you can change your address. So if this is the most recent address and it's different from a prior address, then this will update the IRS records. You can correct a VIN, as we discussed in the earlier module, or up here in the, in the vehicle management. So we had a correct VIN up here. We also have that down here. Final return. If this is your trucking company's final return, then there's actually a part of the form that you would check, and that tells the IRS, don't expect any more of these forms, you're done. And then if you're amending a return, either because your vehicle went up in weight, or you declared a vehicle that exceeded the mileage, so you might have suspended the vehicle and then you realize that vehicle actually exceeded the mileage use, so you need to go back and pay the tax, then you can amend the return. So if none of these are applicable, you check NA, and then now you're ready to file. You can proceed to filing. So, and what that looks like is basically a summary of how many vehicles you're reporting, what the tax is, what credits there may be, if there are any credits. So you can pay through electronic funds withdrawal, credit card or debit card, or through the electronic federal tax payment system. So if you use the EFT withdrawal, you're going to select your bank account, put in all of your bank information. If you use a credit card or a debit card, this is going to simply, you're going to submit the Form 2290. You will end up having to pay separately to the IRS through an approved third-party payment processor. So they put the link to the page on the IRS website where you can track down that information. There are exactly two IRS approved payment processors, pay1040.com and ACI Payments. Go through either of those. They do charge a surcharge for credit card and debit card transactions. Debit card transactions, I believe, are $2.10 or $2.15. And then the credit card transactions are a percentage of the total cost. So it's either 1.75% or 1.85% of the total amount that you're paying to the IRS. And you can either go through the IRS website to a secure payment portal on either pay1040.com or ACI Payments. If you're using the electronic federal tax payment system, you would have to log in directly through EFTPS to make that payment. And there are step-by-step instructions on how to do that. And again, you would use your login credentials to log into EFTPS, pay that amount separately. If you do not have an EFTPS account, then you can enroll at the EFTPS website or by calling 800-555-4477. Just keep in mind that enrollment takes 1 to 5 business days. You may need to factor that into your planning so that you're not late in your filing. So once you figure out which payment option you're going to use, this seems like a pretty decent deal because it's one stop. You can select the I've reviewed the terms of service and the privacy policy, and then you can opt out of the email communications if you want, and just simply hit submit. So That's all we have for this video, and I wish you luck in your tax filings.